Alright guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night in the Apex, Blanchfield versus Barber. We're going to go over each pick, started from the prelims, moving our way towards the main card and into the co-main and main event. Usually we get stinkers in the Apex, but hopefully this weekend is another banger like last weekend. But without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the first fight. Alright, for the first fight guys, we got a strawweight bout between Ryan Dos Santos and Elise Ardelean. Like I've done in the past, these women fights are pretty unpredictable, even though Ryan Dos Santos is a minus 325 favorite, which is very lopsided. She's currently 14-8 on a 2-fight losing streak, both of them by split decision. Both of those fights were pretty close. And then on the other hand, we got Elise Ardelean. She's 9-7, also currently on a 2-fight losing streak. Both of them being decision, one unanimous and one split. They were pretty close, I guess. But both of these ladies on a losing streak. Both of these ladies need a win. But I think I got the heavily favorite in this matchup, especially because she's got that 14-8 record and Elise's got that 9-7. But alright guys, moving on to the next fight, we got Markel Medeiros and Balaji Oki. This is a lightweight bout. Gonna be a pretty fun matchup. We got Medeiros. I don't know, man. He's currently on an 8-fight win streak, 4 of them being KO/TKOs and 4 decisions. He didn't look too impressive to me against Austin Hubbard, you know. He does have good takedown defense and he's pretty decent on the feet, but he does clinch quite a bit. On the other hand, we got Balaji Oki. Dude, this guy's has decent striking, but he can swing recklessly, man. And he puts himself in bad positions on the ground. And props to this guy in his last fight against Chris Duncan. Instead of tapping out, he went straight to sleep. But before that loss, he was on a 9-fight win streak. And I feel like this guy's gonna be able to beat Markel Medeiros. He will pressure you and walk you down. But like I said, the only thing that does worry me about him is how reckless he can be. I'm not too worried about him putting himself in bad position on the ground because I don't think none of these guys are the best at grappling, so I don't think it's going to go to the ground. This is going to be mainly a clinching, holding against the cage, on the feet type of fight. And I feel like Balaji Oki is going to be able to get the better shots and he's going to get a win. Probably most likely by a decision. But alright, moving on to the next fight, we got Kurt Holobaugh going up against Jordan Leavitt. We got Kurt. He desperately needs a win. He's currently on his 3rd UFC opportunity. His first was back in 2013 and was back in 2013. He got cut, went back to the regional scene. Then his second UFC opportunity was in 2017, where he got cut in 2020. He won The Ultimate Fighter appearance in 2023, beating Austin Hubbard actually, which is how he's currently on his 3rd UFC run. And so far he's 3-2. Low key, it should be 4-1. To be honest, that loss against Alexander Hernandez was kind of a steal, I believe. It could have gone either way. But he's pretty well-rounded, even though he did get dominated on the ground by Alexander Hernandez. He's going up against Jordan Leavitt, coming off a loss to Chase Hooper and Paddy Pimblett, which those aren't bad losses at all. However, he hasn't been active for over a year, with his last fight being in November of 2023. But this guy's a good technical grappler, and he was holding his own against Chase Hooper and Paddy Pimblett, having his moments, even though he did get submitted in both of those. But he can also hold his own on the feet. He has not the best, but like I said, he's okay. I kind of feel bad for Kurt Holobaugh. He went from a kind of like a pure grappler to another pure grappler in Jordan Leavitt. I don't think he's going to be able to beat him. Jordan Leavitt is just pretty good on the ground and he's going to be able to take down Kurt Holobaugh. And I think Jordan Leavitt is going to be able to get this win and it'll be a good comeback win after a year of inactivity. But alright guys, moving on to the next fight, we got a welterweight bout between Ramiz Brahimaj and Oban Elliott. This is going to be a banger, guys. We got Ramiz. He's super light on the feet. He does get clipped a lot, but he stays composed, man. And he's coming off a win to Mickey Gall, where he brutally KO'd him. However, man, this guy can't put a win streak together. He's 3-3 in the UFC. He's a win-loss fighter. And then on the other hand, we got Oban Elliott. He's 12-2. He's currently on an 8-fight win streak with 6 decisions, 1 KO, and 1 submission win. Elliott is good at controlling the range. He's a very smart striker. He's very slick on the feet and he'll mix up his strikes very well. And he's coming off a brutal KO win as well. But ultimately, I think Oban Elliott is going to be able to win. He's going to be able to piece up Ramiz. And I feel like it's going to be a KO/TKO win. But alright guys, moving on to the next fight, we got Ketlen Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. Vieira is 14-4. She's coming off a loss to Kayla Harrison by unanimous decision, which is not a bad loss, you know. Kayla Harrison is pretty good. She's going up against Macy Chiasson, who's currently on a 2-fight win streak. One of them being a TKO and the other one being a submission. Honestly, guys, for this pick, I have no freaking clue who to pick. This fight can go completely either way, and I haven't seen either of these ladies fight. But for my pick, guys, I'm probably just going to go with the Brazilian and Ketlin Vieira. She just fought the better opposition, and I feel like that experience is going to help her in this match. So yeah, that's all I got for these ladies. Moving on to the next fight, we got Jeremiah Wells going up against Andreas Gustafsson. Wells is 12-4-1. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak where he got submitted and lost by split decision in another one. But before that, he was on a 6-fight win streak. This guy has no defense, bro. But he will swing kind of recklessly to push his opponent back as defense, if that makes sense. This guy does get clipped a lot, and he gets tired pretty fast. But this guy is very explosive and very dangerous. He can turn the tide of the fight in one shot. And this guy got robbed in his last fight, to be honest. That should have been a win for Wells, and that would have had him on a 7-fight win streak. But with that being said, he's going up against Gustafsson, who's currently on a 3-fight win streak, all of them by finishes. And he won his Dana White Contender Series appearance. And his last 7 wins have all been KO/TKO wins, man. This guy's very violent, very vicious, no defense whatsoever as well. And he would just want to go for the kill. He's also very reckless. This fight is not going to go the distance. These guys are just going to swing, and one of them is going to land a crazy overhand right or a crazy right hook, and one of them is going to get knocked out cold. As for my pick, though, I got the up-and-comer in Andreas Gustafsson. Jeremiah Wells is getting there in age, and Gustafsson is carrying a little bit more momentum, and he has a lot of confidence going into this fight. Sweet, but alright, guys, moving on to the last fight of the prelims. We got Rafael Filho versus Alan Nascimento. Dude, this fight is going to be completely the opposite of the previous one. Both of these guys are great grapplers. Starting with Filho, he's currently on a 2-fight win streak, both of them by submission. But before that loss, he was on a 5-fight win streak. So in his last 8 fights, he's lost only 1. And this guy's got decent level change. He's a very good grappler. He stays busy on the ground, and he has a nasty rear naked choke, guys. He does get tagged a lot, and he's not the best on the feet, though. He's going up against Alan Nascimento. He's also on a 2-fight win streak. One of them being a submission win, and the other one a unanimous decision. And he did lose his Dana White Contender Series appearance, but he's been doing pretty good after that. This guy's also a great grappler. This guy also stays busy on the ground, even though he can smudge wrestle a little bit. This guy's not the best on the feet either. He only has 1 KO/TKO win in his whole pro MMA career, but he does have good takedowns, and this fight hopefully is going to be a technical grappling masterclass. Hopefully it's not one of those boring smudge wrestling, only on the ground, not hunting for anything. I'm very high on this fight, and hopefully these guys can keep it very entertaining. As for my pick, though, again, like most of these fights in this prelim card are pretty close. I have no idea who to pick. This fight can go either way, but I think I'm just going to go with Rafael Filho because of his nasty rear naked choke that he has in his arsenal. And as long as he gets your back, he's probably going to be able to lock that in. But I wouldn't be surprised if Alan Nascimento gets another decision win if Rafael Filho is not able to get that submission early on. But anyway, guys, moving on to the next fight, we got Zachary Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. Alright, guys, before I break down both of these fighters, I'm going to be real with you. Zachary Reese got this in the bag. He's going to be able to put out Dusko Todorovic out cold. But Zachary Reese, he's coming off a loss to Bekwev. Yes, he got finished in that fight, but Bekwev is on the tear right now, and a loss against him is not looking too bad right now because Bekwev is on the tear, and he's a monster in a whole different level. But Zachary Reese, he's got the height and reach advantage here. He's great on the feet, and he has decent power. He wasn't able to finish Medina in his previous win because Medina is just tough, man. He's very freaking durable. I don't know what the hell he's made out of, but he sucks, yes, but Zachary Reese did a lot of damage to him. The other hand, we got Dusko Todorovic. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak where he got finished in both of those. After his crazy 10-fight win streak to start his MMA career, he's been a win and loss fighter. Hasn't been able to put a good win streak after that. This guy's very chinny. He gets hurt pretty fast. And the only way that I can see this guy winning is if he clinches and grapples his way into a decision. Because Dusko Todorovic, he's better on the ground than he is on the feet. And that's what I feel like he's going to need to look for if he wants to win. But like I said at the beginning of this breakdown, Zachary Reese has got it in the bag. Just watch. He's gonna put out Dusko Todorovic out cold, probably like in the mid slash and first round. But alright, guys, moving on to the next fight, we got Dustin Jacoby going up against Bruno Lopez. Dustin Jacoby 29-1. He's coming off a win to Victor Petrino where he put him out cold. Jacoby's got good striking. This guy will circle around and not get trapped against the cage. So that's pretty good to defend takedowns, and he's definitely going to need that against Bruno Lopez. But Jacoby's got good counters as well, and he's got pretty decent feints. On the other hand, we got Bruno Lopez, 14-1. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak, unanimous decision, a KO, and a submission win. His only loss ever was in his Dana White Contender Series appearance to Brenton Ribeiro, where he got finished. Bruno Lopez, LFA champ. He's dangerous on the feet and on the ground. 11 of his 14 wins have been finishes, 6 KO/TKOs, and 5 submissions. My guess is this guy's plan is to wrestle here. I don't think he's going to want to stand the man with just Dustin Jacoby. However, Dustin Jacoby, and yes, I understand Bruno Lopez is an LFA champ, but sometimes that doesn't translate into the UFC very well. He got finished by Brenton Ribeiro. Ribeiro is doing pretty good right now, but he's not the best light heavyweight out there. I feel like Dustin Jacoby is going to be able to beat Bruno Lopez in a 29-28 decision win. So yep, that's my guess for that fight, guys. Moving on to the next fight, we got Billy Ray Joff going up against Ko Seok-hyun. I probably totally butchered that, but Billy Ray, he's 9-3. He's coming off a loss to Trey Waters, where Ray had a huge height and reached disadvantage, but this guy was able to constantly pressure him, walk him down, and this guy has some crazy output, man. He also has a crazy chin too. And before that loss, he was on a 7-fight win streak with 6 of them being finishes, man. And this guy will mix up his attacks, going for the legs, going for the body, hitting you in the head. And yeah, but the only thing that worries me is that he hasn't been active for a little over a year, I believe. But on the other hand, guys, we got Ko Seok-hyun. He's currently on a 4-fight win streak, 3 of them being finishes and 1 unanimous decision win. He did win his Dana White Contender Series appearance, and this is going to be his UFC debut. I couldn't really study this guy that much, but he does have crazy output, and 6 of his 11 wins have been by KO/TKO finishes. For my pick, guys, I think I'm going to go with Billy Ray Joff. This guy was almost able to knock out way bigger and taller fighter, and this is going to be an evenly matched up on the height and the reach. I feel like he's going to be able to land a lot of knees to the body, maybe a couple to the head, and I feel like he's going to be able to finish him with some nasty elbows on the ground. So alright, guys, moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we got Mateusz Gamrot going up against Ludwig Klein. Mateusz Gamrot, 24-3. He's coming off a tough loss to Dan Hooker. Before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak, 2 of them being unanimous decision wins and a KO/TKO win. He's going up against Ludwig Klein, 23-4-1. He's currently on a 6-fight win streak, 5 of them being decisions and 1 being a KO/TKO a win. Mateusz Gamrot, what can we say about this guy? He's a crazy wrestler. He's been a staple in the lightweight division for a while. And this guy's got a crazy win over Arman Tsarukyan. And that's very impressive. That just speaks how good of a wrestler this guy is. This guy's never been finished, never been submitted, never been KO'd. So we'll see how this fight goes, because Ludwig Klein, he's a great striker. He's very fast, very technical. This guy's got good takedown defense. Hopefully this fight doesn't go similar to the Pereira versus Ankalaev fight, where the striker is just kind of like not looking for any strikes because he's just so weird for the takedowns. But I don't think it's going to happen in this fight. I think Ludwig Klein is going to be able to manage the takedown, especially with this guy's takedown defense. And Mateusz Gamrot, he does get knocked down pretty easily. So that's why I think Ludwig Klein is going to be able to beat him. I don't think he's going to be able to finish him because of Gamrot's crazy streak. So I think Ludwig Klein is going to be able to pull a nice decision win here. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for these guys. But alright, guys, moving on to the main event of the evening. We got Erin Blanchfield going up against Macy Barber. We got Erin Blanchfield 13-2. She's coming off a win over Rose Namajunas via unanimous decision. Before that, before her loss to Manon Fiorot, which is not a bad loss considering how good Fiorot did against the champion, she was on a 9-fight win streak, 4 of them being unanimous decisions, 4 of them being submissions, and a KO/TKO win. She's going up against Macy Barber. She's 14-2, currently on a 6-fight win streak, 5 of them being decisions, and 1 KO/TKO win. Guys, this is going to be a super close fight. I feel like it's gonna be kind of boring. Not gonna lie. Like, it's not just because it's a women's MMA fight, but just because of how close matched up they are. I believe I didn't really study these ladies as well, and I've never seen these ladies fight either. So I'm not gonna pretend and I'm not gonna act and pretend like that hardcore fan that's gonna say, "Oh, Aaron Blanchfield's gonna be able to get this, this, and this," or Macy Barber's gonna get this, this, and that. But I think I'm just gonna go with Aaron Blanchfield. She's faced the harder opponents, and she would have been on an 11 fight win streak right now if it wasn't for Manon Fiorot. And I don't think Macy Barber is gonna be able to do much against Aaron Blanchfield. Macy Barber's probably most notable win was against Amanda Ribas, where she finished her. But even then, a win against Amanda Ribas right now isn't too impressive. ¿Qué, chatito? ¿Qué? Dile sola. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Y qué más? Okay, pues, vámonos, pues. Sorry, guys, that was my cat Cheeto. We named him after the Cheeto Puffs. Looked like a Cheeto Puff when he was born. But alright, guys, sorry for that sidetrack. For my pick, like I said, I think I got Aaron Blanchfield. And my crazy prediction of the night, she's going to win by submission. Most likely in the 3rd round. But alright, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in and giving us your time to look through my video. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week, and let's hope that we get another great UFC Apex event like we did last week. But anyway, guys, adios.